Today on Global News Morning, a historic sentence. An Assiniboia man faces 17 years behind bars for sexually abusing children. Plus, unending uncertainty. The impact of tariffs continues to linger over Saskatchewan businesses.
You're watching Global Regina. This is Global News Morning.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Brendan Purdy. Thank you so much for joining us here on Global News Morning. An Assiniboia man who pleaded guilty to sexually touching children and making child pornography has been sentenced to 17 years in prison. 48-year-old Richard Dyke abused 33 victims dating back to 2005. RCMP say they ranged in age from 18 months to 17 years old, and that Dyke came into contact with some of them through a daycare operated out of his home. Dyke pleaded guilty to 10 charges while 73 others were stayed.
To deter Mr. Dyke from doing things like this in the future, it's important that he gets such a severe sentence.
The Crown says this is the longest sentence of its kind in the province's history.
To the best of our knowledge, this is the longest sentence ever imposed for sexual offending against children in Saskatchewan. The previous highest was 15 years, and this will be the longest sentence ever.
Due to credit for time already served, Dyke is slated to serve another 14 and a half years behind bars. Nearly 2 months ago, U.S. President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Canadian aluminum, steel, and automobiles, and the impact is proving to be a slow burn. Our Catherine Ludwig talked with some industry professionals about how things are shaping up.
You know, it's so up in the air that we don't know. We have no idea. It could happen tomorrow.
The U.S. tariffs continue to be a big concern for many Saskatchewan industries. At the start of April, the 25% automobile tariff was imposed, but prices have stayed almost the same. At least that's what Nick Pitts is seeing when it comes to buying materials for his auto repair shop.
We haven't been seeing a lot, a couple dollars here and there increase. Nothing substantial that I would say would jeopardize any kind of repairs.
He says his suppliers have warned him in recent weeks that prices could increase, which made Pitts nervous when the tariffs were first announced.
I was trying to see if there was a different brand, like different brands of parts that I could try to source, just in case the brands that we trust and we always install were going to go skyrocketing, and at that point it wouldn't be beneficial to any customer.
But since there hasn't been much of a change so far, he has felt some relief. However, the feeling of fight or flight lingers as Saskatchewan's Trade Minister Warren Kating explains there is still a lot of uncertainty.
Just not knowing what may be coming up the next day or a week or a month from now is probably the biggest concern that we've heard from pretty well all sectors, is the level of uncertainty is just not allowing them the opportunity to expand with confidence or to go to that next level in their business development.
He says the future is difficult to predict, but the province's growth indicators are strong. Catherine Ludwig, Global News.
Big cuts were made at City Council yesterday, with councillors voting to reduce a hefty $1.5 million in spending. The biggest savings, $600,000, will come from eliminating the carbon tax on utilities, while the amount of money set aside for the transit fleet reserve has been shaved by $500,000. Much of yesterday's discussions focused on what to keep.
I would encourage my colleagues to not reduce the capacity of the city manager's office to move forward priority items as it relates to that $250,000. And I certainly have an expectation that the people of Regina aren't interested in us reducing our mosquito control services or dust suppression.
Also surviving council's belt tightening was the downtown washroom operations. Western premiers are in the Northwest Territories this week, discussing everything from Arctic security to tariffs. Premier Scott Moe's office says he's discussing a number of priorities that he's tasked to Prime Minister Mark Carney. Those include giving provinces full responsibility of the industrial carbon levy. The premiers will be speaking to media following the conclusion of the conference later today. All right, folks, Moises joining us now to look at the weather. Good morning, Moises.
Good morning. Friday Eve for those that celebrate. We have a couple people in the building here that like to call Thursday Friday Eve. I don't know if it's like a psychological thing to get excited for the weekend, but yeah, Friday Eve today, folks.
So looking at positives, Friday Eve. Also looking at positives, the returns. How about the return, singular, of positive temperatures?
Absolutely. Hey, Brendan, nice to see that we're back to the double digits today because the last couple days been quite cool out there with that rain, the clouds. We've been talking about how we need that, of course. But now we get to some warmer temperatures. You're actually going to see as we get set for the weekend too, folks, getting set for that sunshine, and it's going to feel hot into next week. And let's start with a look out of our city cam here this morning. We've got a view of part of Wascana Park with the Legislative Building here in our view, and looking cloudy here this morning in Regina to kick things off. We're at a temperature of 4 degrees. It's a breezy start this morning with your winds southeast at 15 kilometers per hour. So let's take a tour across Saskatchewan to see our current temperatures elsewhere, and we'll start all the way up north. We've got Uranium City and La Ronge at 7 degrees, Buffalo Narrows at 8, some of the warmest temperatures we're seeing up north, while Nipawin is at +1. Hudson Bay starting the day off at -1. We've got Prince Albert 7 degrees, Saskatoon at 5, and let's go a little bit further south now. Moose Jaw and Estevan at 5 this morning as well. You've got Weyburn, Swift Current, East End at 3, Yorkton, Rockglen at 1. So a little bit of rain to start here this morning, a little spitting on our drive-in this morning. We had a little bit of rain, but it's starting to clear out here around Regina. You can see down to the southeast and some areas further north looking at that rain here this morning. By this afternoon, we're getting set for some sunshine, unless you're in Estevan. It looks like a little bit of rain, but I think should clear out by later this afternoon. High of 16 for Estevan. Yorkton getting up to 20 degrees today. Moosomin at 18. You'll see Regina here 17 degrees this afternoon with a partly cloudy sky. Moose Jaw, Assiniboia, Swift Current, Shaunavon, and Saskatoon. A number of areas at a high of 18. So cloudy this morning, folks, but by this afternoon, partly cloudy conditions, and it actually looks like it will be quite sunny by this evening. 4 degrees will be our low tonight here in Regina. 20-degree temperatures back in the forecast starting tomorrow. We're at 20 degrees. 22 Saturday. We're looking at 23 to wrap things up on Sunday, and more of those 20-degree temperatures coming up next week. A snapshot of our view from the studio here at Global Regina. This is Ring Road as we bring you the OK Tire traffic report now. Average gas price is $1.33. It looks like Regina Cabs is your cheapest option to start the day.
All right, thanks for that, Moises. The recent rain and clouds passing through Saskatchewan aren't heading towards northern wildfires. 2 major fires in and around Narrow Hills Provincial Park continue to burn out of control. The Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency says the area received little rain, and while cooler temperatures are helping, the growth of those fires still isn't contained.
We can't guarantee that it isn't going to grow, and that's how we define whether it's contained or not. So we are expecting these fires to still grow, unfortunately, but again, every day it's looking better.
Candle Lake has lifted its pre-evacuation alert after being threatened by the nearby fires. Wildland firefighters in Saskatchewan will now have presumptive coverage for 22 types of cancer. It's one of the updates to the Workers' Compensation Board Act that's now been passed and will take effect later this year. The province says the change makes Saskatchewan a leader in protecting wildland firefighters. The Prairie Lithium Brine project in southeast Saskatchewan has received initial production approval from the provincial government. U.S.-based Arizona Lithium describes the site as vast and untapped. Exploration on the property began in 2021, but this new lithium extraction project will separate the resource from the brine, converting it into a high-purity material. Saskatchewan's energy minister says it's a great step forward towards large-scale production of lithium in our province. Adding in a statement that this is also a significant step towards our critical mineral strategy goal of doubling the number of critical minerals produced in Saskatchewan by 2030. Our government supports our critical minerals industries by providing a stable regulatory framework and competitive incentive programs. Young owners of small businesses are being offered a small financial boost to help them grow and contribute to the provincial economy. As entrepreneurs between the ages of 18 and 35 can now apply for a $5,000 bursary. The provincial government is funding the program to the tune of close to $1 million over 3 years.
It's a small amount, but yet it also is significant enough to make a difference in their business. But I think the more important part of this is, comes the guidance and the mentorship that they're able to get from successful businesses that are going to be there to help support them on their entrepreneurial journey.
To be eligible, the people applying must have been in operation for no more than a decade. All right, folks, Global News Morning keeps rolling along on this Thursday morning. Plenty to get through throughout the morning, but we're going to hit pause on the action for right now. And we'll leave you with a quick shot of the Legislative Building. More of the program continues after this short break.